Yo, hello, listeners. You're listening to Duck Legs Podcast, episode 12.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Jared Aguilar, student physical therapist. I got my big homie, my OG friend from a long ways back.
Way back
in the crusty Huey P. Long fields of LSU.
LSU kinesiology shout out.
Yeah, those dark days. Stephen Lauza, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
We made it, man. We made it from all those dark days.
Man, we used to stay after class and talk about it and dream about it, and it was some good times, some bad times, but
yeah. And dreaming about finally getting into PT school one day, right? We knew it was going to be hard. We knew actually, I didn't know it was going to be that hard. I didn't think it would be that difficult. Yeah. But ended up getting rejected a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I think you have a similar story as well regarding rejection letters.
Yeah, it that definitely happened. But I think kind of seeing you went through it first. And just kind of seeing you do that, I was kind of I was very disappointed. I was sad for you, but I knew we were going to bounce back.
Yeah, you got to see me like lose all hope and then slowly regain a nugget of confidence in myself.
Regained it all. I mean, I'm talking it was awesome. It was awesome to see whenever you finally told me you got accepted. I was like probably happier than you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and that's what this episode is really going to be about. Dr. Aimee Kent, ladies and gentlemen, is on the show today. She's a travel physical therapist. St. Augustine, Austin, Texas grad, one of Steven's great friends. Yeah. And she went through a lot of hardships.
She did.
To try to, before she even got into PT school.
Yeah.
She
has a nice little story herself. But what matters is that she came out on top. She graduated with the highest GPA in her class.
Ooh.
Fun fact, if you go to the Austin campus, you will see maybe 1 or 2 plaques with her name on them.
Oh, yeah. Multiple plaques.
So she just recently published her first article. I emphasize first because I hope she does more, but she probably said that she won't. But we can encourage her to do so.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting. The name of the article is, I have it right here. It's in the Journal of Physiotherapy and Physical Rehabilitation.
Hell yeah.
And stay tuned. It's called Aquatic and Land-Based Physical Therapy Improves Functional Mobility and Quality of Life in a Patient with Bethlem Myopathy Muscular Dystrophy. A case report.
That sounds sexy.
It sounds sexy enough. So I hope y'all go find that and read it. I got to see a sneak peek of it before it was published, and I'm always proud of her and her works. And she's just a great friend, motivates, knows what to say. She's been through it, and she always does it with a positive attitude and a smile.
Yeah. So, hashtag life of a travel PT.
Hashtag life of a travel PT.
I mean, we learned so much in this episode from her moving to a certain state that we shall not name.
Shall not name it. I wanted to allude to a certain game where Auburn might have returned a field goal kick to win the game.
Yeah, I don't know who they were playing against though.
I forgot.
Being LSU alumni, we have memories like that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'll have to look.
Something about a crimson. But
I think they're elephants, maybe?
I don't know.
Something like that.
But yeah, we talked college football in this episode. We talked about, again, travel PT, getting on that road, traveling from Oregon to Texas to Florida to wherever.
Yeah. Virginia.
Yeah, now she's in Beaumont. Shout out to Beaumont, right?
Beaumont, home of the
whatchamacallits.
Home of the whatchamacallits.
Home of the fighting whatchamacallits. But yeah, we learned she really kept it so real with us in regards to what is travel PT, what are the expectations coming out. You hear a lot of good things about travel PT, a lot of you'll make 6 figures right out of school. She kind of lays down the law and says, the pay is nice, but don't fall into some pipe dream stuff, and you'll have a rude awakening, and you'll end up having to call Aimee, being like, "Are these numbers right?" And she'll be like, "Yes, honey." Ooh, baby.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh, baby.
Oh, no, baby.
Oh, no, baby.
Oh, baby. She definitely keeps it real. And that's what we all enjoy and like and appreciate.
We like this cow. It's kind of one of those things. It's like the duck. You see a duck in the water, right? The duck looks like it's cool, but the duck's freaking working hard under the water. Wow, working hard. That's how our place is. We look cool, but we're working hard.
Do I click it after I finish talking?
You can click it whenever, man. We got to get you more familiar with tech stuff, Steven.
Hey, I just know paper and pen.
And hip-hop.
Okay, and hip-hop. Hello, everyone. This is Steven Layuza. You've seen my name on Facebook. Haven't gotten into any podcasts yet, but this will be the first one for me. I have Jared, my buddy Jared. Hello.
Yo.
What's up? And I have our guest speaker, Dr. Aimee Kent.
Hello.
So,
yay.
Just a little bit. I'm going to give a little brief about Aimee, and she'll talk about herself a little bit more. She graduated from the University of St. Augustine.
Yeah.
In April of 2015.
Go Kiwis.
Go Kiwis. What you know about them Kiwis, Steven?
I got that PT Olympics tank to represent.
Okay.
She's been doing some travel PT since she graduated, so it's been a little bit. And yeah, she's going to give a little bit more about herself.
Hashtag travel PT.
Hashtag travel PT.
Hashtag life of a travel PT.
Hashtag life of a travel PT. If you add her as a friend on Facebook after this podcast, you will see her hashtags. They're great.
You have a blog going with that?
I don't. Steven has tried to get me to start one multiple times. Multiple. And I probably should with all the stuff I've seen, but I just haven't. But maybe after this, maybe I'll start it. Maybe my stardom will be kicked off by this.
Oh, you're going to be a mega star. It's going to be ridiculous.
Awesome.
I know Steven's story pretty well, from LSU to a million rejection letters to PT school.
Yes.
Aimee, where did you go to undergrad, and what was your journey like from those great undergraduate days to never getting a single PT school rejection letter to finally crushing PT school?
Yeah. So I grew up in Florida. So I went to undergrad at the University of Florida in Gainesville.
We won't hold that against her.
No.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Go Gators. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do going into college. And so by my junior year, I figured out I wanted to do physical therapy. I guess, my story for how I wanted to become a physical therapist is pretty common with everyone. I think I injured myself playing intramural basketball, went to physical therapy, and something just clicked. I loved watching the therapist help all their patients get better. I loved the anatomy and the human body and how it moved. And so I did some shadowing over the summer and decided to kind of turn my focus to physical therapy. Luckily, my degree was already applied physiology. And so I didn't really have to change too much. But I applied to 4 or 5 schools my senior year of undergrad. I really wanted to go to the University of Alabama in Birmingham because that's where my dad went to medical school, and I have a lot of family in Alabama, and I kind of wanted to just get out of Florida.
Understandable.
Yeah. So I applied to about 5 different places, and I had an interview at UAB, but didn't actually get in and didn't get in anywhere. Which was a little hard to swallow because I got into college just fine, and I just wasn't expecting to get rejected from every single school I applied to.
Yep.
So I ended up moving to Birmingham, thinking that maybe if I was an in-state resident, it would help my application. I went and talked to the admissions department, and they told me to retake a few classes, and I got a job at a clinic in Birmingham, and loved living up there and reapplied and didn't even get an interview to UAB the second year.
That's hard.
Yes, it was. So I kind of took a step back and was like, well, am I supposed to be doing PT, or am I just supposed to be opening up my options a little bit more? And so the company I worked for in Birmingham is a great place called Eskridge and White Physiotherapy. Most of their PTs are from UAB, but their other PTs are from the University of St. Augustine. So the director of the clinic called me into his office and said, you're going to be a great PT. I know UAB didn't work out, but you really should consider St. Augustine. He goes, we love our therapists that come from there. We'll write you letters of recommendation, but we think you should try it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was encouraging. And so I went and visited the campus in Florida and talked to the admissions department down there. They looked at my transcript and kind of helped me make my application as good as possible. And I went home and started applying and realized that I had 3 options because the Texas campus was just starting to open.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they had already accepted their first class, but I would have been able to be a part of the second class. So I finished the application and called my parents, and it's kind of like, I don't, Florida is where my family is, but I kind of don't know if I want to come back to Florida because I got very distracted in college with friends and family. And I knew if I went back there, it would probably happen again. Not bad things to be distracted by, but when you're in a doctorate program, you can't have many distractions.
You gotta stay in that hustle mindset.
Yes, exactly. So I ended up applying. My parents encouraged me to apply to the Austin campus, and so I did. And I had an interview and got in, which was awesome.
Yeah.
She hadn't looked back since.
I haven't. It was the first time I'd really left the comfort zone of Florida in the South and being near family, and it's been awesome. So I love it.
There's not many reasons to leave, but if you are going to, I think PT school would be a good reason to.
Yes, I agree. It ended up being a fantastic experience, and all my friends ended up being part of the program. So if we all had tests, like if I had a test, we all had tests. So my distractions were a lot more minimal, I guess.
Focused distractions.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody's in the same boat.
Yep.
And we're all going to New Zealand to get some kiwis.
That would be fantastic.
We're also going upstream.
That's right.
After we all pay off our loans, we can go to
Yes.
Ooh. Had to bring those up, didn't you?
Sorry. Back to reality a little bit.
Had to.
I think that's such a great story. You saying that you just uprooted kind of everything right after undergrad, moving to Alabama, taking that risk, finding a new job just to help that chance into getting to that school you wanted to, which is that's an amazing feat alone for me. That I'm like, wow, that's the amount of time and energy you put towards fighting for your dreams.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's, I had a lot of support from family and friends, and that helped a lot.
And
because I was very gun shy at first.
And you still didn't give up after getting rejected from that, which is a devastating blow that could have happened,
It is, yes.
Right.
It's a very humbling experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun having somebody tell you you're not good enough to do what you want to do. So yeah, a lot of respect to those who end up getting rejected, but keep fighting.
Yeah, I will say it was probably the best thing that happened to me. Having to work for a year and a half in between undergrad and grad school, I got so much experience, and it really helped me when I started school to figure out, like, when I was learning things in grad school, how it applied.
Right.
I don't think I would have appreciated it that much had I just gone straight from undergrad into grad school. And I also don't think I would have been as focused as I was. So it ended up being a great thing. In the moment, it was horrible, but, everything kind of works out the way it's supposed to. And so I think, everybody listening who didn't get in the first time or second time, there's a reason, and it will all turn out okay.
Yeah.
And then also, Steven tells me that, we have this little girl from Florida, risked everything, moved to Alabama, got rejected. And then when you do prove everybody wrong and make it into PT school, what happens? You become valedictorian and get the highest GPA of all time and get your name all over the USA plaques, right?
Yes, that is correct.
That's what happens.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I think, St. Augustine really was a really good environment for me. It was smaller class sizes and the teachers were, very accessible. And, when you're doing what you love, as much as, taking 22 hours in a semester is really grueling, you love it, you enjoy learning. And yeah, it all kind of worked out. I feel very, very lucky, very blessed for sure.
Awesome.
A lot of hard work. And she made it into the accolades as well, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
What magazine was that?
Tell them.
Oh, the accolades?
Oh. I'm saying all accolades.
Yep. The school magazine, I guess, is what it is.
Yeah, graduation is nice, but to get your face in accolades, that's what it's about, right?
Goals.
Goal.
Goal.
Hashtag goal.
Hashtag goals.
Hashtag PT goals. Well, speaking of
Yes.
I don't want to say the school's name, but kind of tell us some more hobbies you have outside of.
Now, why do you have such a beef with Alabama, Stephen? Where could you possibly have gone to school? Instilled such a beef.
So, growing up, I hated, despised LSU.
Really?
A few of my family members went to Tulane, and we were kind of introduced to that side. But as I got older, I enjoyed the sports. I enjoyed, the family environment, being close, and I was like, okay, I could do LSU. And it was only until I got there that I realized how much of the hostility, not hostility, but the red school tends to get the better of us in football.
The red school being what school?
I don't remember I just know their colors are red. Crimson,
okay.
I guess
Something about an elephant, right?
Something about an elephant. I don't really know much else, but
and tides rolling around for some reason.
Something like that. I don't know. I think Aimee can tell us a little bit more.
I definitely can. I'm just enjoying listening to the two of you.
So tell us a little bit more about your hobbies outside of PT. I want to get into.
And first, what's so cool about Bama? What is so damn cool about that Crimson Tide?
He said it.
I mean, other than the 4 national championships in the last 7 years.
Other than the complete domination of college football?
Heisman Trophy winners and Nick Saban and Bear Bryant and Joe Namath. So my parents actually grew up in Alabama. So when you're born in the state of Alabama, you kind of –
you never leave the state of Alabama.
Never do. No.
You marry your cousin, right?
There's nothing. There's nothing. There's no pro teams. There's no life revolves around 2 colleges and high school football. It's just what it is. I mean, MTV had a show over a high school football team. So it's kind of a way of life. And so my parents are huge Alabama fans, and we have had season tickets since before I was born. So
damn.
Yeah, I grew up in Florida because that's where my dad opened his practice, but I grew up going to at least a Bama game every year.
Gotcha.
So I grew up in South Florida where everyone's from the north, so there wasn't a huge Florida influence necessarily. Everyone's Ohio State fans and Michigan fans, and so I could kind of keep my Crimson roots nice and rooted. Going to Florida made life a little interesting, but yes, college football is definitely huge in my family, and we've been lucky to be able to go to a lot of the big games recently. And so I went to Florida, and I love Florida, and I'm a Gator, but when I was there, we played each other in back-to-back SEC championship games, and I wore crimson and white to both of them. So
shame.
Yeah. I actually, funny story, it was the week before one of the SEC championships, and I always took the bus into campus because I lived off campus, and I parked my car and I went to walk up to the bus, and he was waiting on me because it was cold, and I went to go put on my Alabama sweatshirt, and right as I put it on, he closed the doors and drove away from me.
What?
So I called my dad and I said, I may miss class. He said, why? I said, well, and I told him the story. He goes, that's fine. If you're going to miss class, that's an acceptable answer. College football is a way of life. We love our Crimson Tide. We don't have hate for LSU, but that's a one-way street, I think.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is that we hate them so much and Bama just doesn't get?
Because they don't have to deal with us losing.
Oh.
I think Nick Saban may have played a little role in that as well.
That is true. That is true.
Which I understand. I would be very bitter if it was the other way around.
There's a few connections. He may be taking off for the NFL soon, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Not going anywhere.
Oh.
we talk. He's not going anywhere.
Well, I guess we'll kind of get to talking about a little bit of travel PT, kind of what made you decide that. And, I know you have a ton of experiences. I've talked to you before a few times.
A few.
A few. But just kind of tell us a little bit about, travel PT and, your life since graduate.
Because you decided to go with travel PT fresh out of graduate school, right?
I did. Yep. My first job was a travel assignment, and I haven't stopped since.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have any specific questions, let me know, but I can kind of give you the gist. Yeah. So I went to grad school after working in an outpatient clinic and was very set on just returning to that outpatient clinic and working there after grad school. Like, my job was already lined up. That's just what I was going to do. And so I went to St. Augustine and had some clinicals and had a rotation in a skilled nursing facility. And my eyes were kind of open to the other options for physical therapists. And I all of a sudden got very confused on what exactly I wanted to do with my degree. So around, I guess, my 6th out of my 7th semester of school, the company that I thought I may work for after at the outpatient clinic called and kind of asked where my mind was. And I told him, I said, I love your company, but I'm really not sure if outpatient ortho is where I want to be right now. And they were great. They were very supportive. They said, if you want to do travel, it's something I wish I could have done. I'm married and have kids. And they're like, if you want to do it, like, there will be a job kind of for you whenever you're ready. If you want to come back here, let us know. And then when another opening comes up, we'll let you know. But they said, if you want to travel, like, now's the time. So They were very encouraging. I've, just like my parents were when I decided to move out to Texas, this company was great. So I talked to a bunch of people, and you get a lot of mixed reviews as a new grad wanting to travel. Half the people are going to tell you that you need experience and it's just too overwhelming because, you're fresh out of school and you need that mentorship. And the other half say, this is the time to do it. Go learn, go see the world. You can always settle down later. So I actually went to Dr. Werner and Dr. at St. Augustine. And I asked them because they really knew me better than anybody. And I said, what do you think? And Dr. Werner said, you can do this. Like, if you want to travel, he goes, you will be fine traveling. And he knew me very well. He kind of knew how I dealt with stress and everything. And he's great. So I decided to contact some companies, and I wanted to use travel for a few different things. I wanted to test out some different settings to kind of figure out, do I really like skilled nursing and inpatient, or was it just my clinical that I loved? Do I do like outpatient, or is it just that, that one company I worked with that I really liked? And then I also wanted to kind of see the country. I was a single 25-year-old who, didn't really know where I wanted to live. And I just figured it was kind of the best time to go. So, I got in contact with the travel company and have traveled to 4 different states and just finished my 5th assignment.
Can you tell us where all you've been?
Yeah, of course. So I wanted to go to Oregon straight out of grad school, but they didn't really have the jobs I was looking for at the time. So I ended up in Virginia, Lynchburg, Virginia, which is a decent sized town, kind of near the mountains, kind of more in the west part of Virginia. So I started there at a skilled nursing facility and then went from there to the panhandle of Texas. I went and hung out in Lubbock for 3 months. Yeah. At an inpatient rehab hospital, which was really cool because I hadn't worked in an inpatient hospital before. So it was neat. They kind of tell you that as a traveler, you have to have experience in all these different settings and people, you have be able to walk in and work and no one's going to take the time to train you. And that's not, I've run into that a little bit, but the hospital in Lubbock brought me in and I had a week of orientation, and they really were like, if there's some diagnoses you've never seen, please feel free to like block out an hour of your day and go with another therapist and learn.
That's awesome.
So it was great. Like, I loved it. I learned so much at that hospital, and it made things more confusing because then I said, well, maybe I want to do inpatient rehab now. But it was nice to actually, it was kind of like a clinical, but I was getting paid instead of paying them. So from there, I actually ended up on the Oregon coast for 3 months, back in a skilled nursing facility again. And the Pacific Northwest is beautiful. I was only going to be there for 3 months and ended up doing the rotation after that up in Washington, because it was just, there's too much to see in summer in the Pacific Northwest. You can't really beat it. The weather's beautiful and there's so much to do.
And that is why you need to start a blog as soon as possible.
Yeah. Agreed.
Got it. I will see what I can do.
At least Snapchat.
I mean, if you go to my Instagram, I have pictures from all these places. So.
And do we hashtag life of a travel PT?
Yes.
Okay.
You can, because I use that one a lot.
Okay.
And then from there, I came back to Texas. I loved being out in the Pacific Northwest, but it was very far away from anyone I knew. And time zones make talking after work very, very hard. So I decided to come back to Texas. The thought of driving clear to Florida wasn't very exciting. So I have a lot of friends in Texas from grad school. And so ended up back in Austin. I worked in Temple, but lived in Austin because why would you live in Temple when you can live in Austin?
Yeah.
And then, so that was my last assignment. And so I'm home now, and my next assignment is actually in Beaumont, Texas.
Oh, is that Houston area?
It's kind of east of Houston, really close to the Louisiana border.
Hey.
Yeah, there's apparently a ton of Louisiana influence down there, so I should get some good Cajun food, which will be nice.
That Louisiana influence, Steven.
That Louisiana influence. We'll keep her from Gates, but we'll.
Who's that?
Oh, not yet. They're not ready yet.
You want to save the rapper references for later?
Yeah, we'll save that for later because we have a little special that Aimee will be doing for us in a little bit. But we'll stay on track. If you know me, I'm one to get off track, so I'll try to stay on track. But Aimee, would you mind telling us a few pros and cons about your travel experience thus far?
Yeah, more PT side or just in general?
Both. I mean, both.
Okay, yeah. So from a PT aspect, I walked into my very first assignment as the only PT with 3 PTAs, 40 patients, and 2 facilities.
Damn.
Wow. So you were like fresh out of school and you were the boss. Not the boss, but everybody was asking you questions.
Like the boss.
I was. I walked into like a 7-hour day, basically, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when it's your very first day as an actual physical therapist where you're in charge, it's a lot. It's very overwhelming. So yeah, I mean, you learn really fast, which is nice, but that's definitely something that, you have to be very aware of happening if you're going to travel. So it can be a pro or a con, depending on who you are. Being kind of walking in on your own and being the only PT, not having anyone to really go to. But, for me, it helped me learn a lot faster. If I have somebody else there, I will use them as a crutch. If I don't, you kind of have to figure it out yourself. And so, you have to be very kind of confident in yourself and your skills and things that you've learned. So it kind of made me pull up my big girl pants really fast.
Yeah, you got to.
Unfortunately, in a lot of skilled nursing facilities, you take these ethics classes in grad school and you're like, oh, that doesn't happen, or, oh, that's not a big deal. But then you actually experience your first big ethical dilemma and you're like, I probably should have paid closer attention during that class.
Oh, no.
And so, yeah, that's probably, it's not necessarily travel related, I guess, but travelers, they are very used to travelers coming in and just doing whatever they're told and then leaving because you're only there for 13 weeks. And so some people don't really kind of look at it as their home and their responsibility. And so you can kind of get away with some stuff like maybe keeping people on caseload too long or, only keeping people with the better insurances. And, so if you're not paying attention, you can really kind of get yourself in a sticky situation. So, it's the ethical issues have probably been the hardest thing. Yeah. You have a lot of pushback because there's a lot of players involved. There's there's the director, there's the rehab company, there's the regional director, there's the social workers and the nurses and there's so many people you kind of have to talk to, which is fun on one side because you can really kind of use a team approach for patient care. But the other time, like you kind of spend your day sometimes like debating with everybody about stuff.
That's difficult.
It is, yes, especially as a new grad.
Yeah.
So you kind of learn pretty fast. But I mean, the pros of it is, I've worked with, I can't even count how many PTAs and PTs and OTs and speech therapists, and I have learned so much. I've worked with a PT who is like in her late 50s. I've worked with other new grads. I've worked with PTAs who have been PTAs for 40 years. And the things you can learn from PTAs with that much experience is just amazing. Yeah. Like their treatment approaches and their experience is just unmatchable. So, it's awesome to have a mentor and just work in one place. But I really feel like I've learned so much from being able to travel and work at different facilities and with a bunch of different people and I'm kind of building my toolbox, as people like to say.
Yeah.
With a bunch of different ways to treat people and ways to look at things. And so that's been really cool. I think it's something that I wouldn't have gotten if I had just gone and worked at one place. So I think it's definitely experience that was worth it for sure.
Yeah. And these are 13-week assignments, correct? That you have to spend and devote your time and energy and passion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 13 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the 13 weeks usually feel quick or long, or does it depend on the site and their relationships with their recruiters, et cetera?
It really does fly by. Like the first 3 or 4 weeks, you're kind of getting really settled in and getting to know everybody, the nurses and other therapists. And, the next thing you look, you're halfway through your assignment. So they really do fly by. For the assignments that aren't as fun or are a lot more mentally draining, the last few weeks can kind of drag on. But you also know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You're not stuck here forever. It's 3 weeks. You're there for the patients. So you kind of just try to find the reasons that are getting you to work every day.
Saving lives.
And I think that attracts a lot of people with travel is that, that, if you really do, it turns out that you just don't enjoy it or it's just not the right setting for you. You're 13 weeks and you're out.
So if Steven shows up to a site and there's 2 Bama fans, he knows that he doesn't have to put up with their crap for 2 months longer. Right?
It's very true, actually. I had a classmate who was an Ole Miss fan and had an internship in Homa.
Oh.
And his 2 CIs were big LSU fans, and I think it was the year that LSU beat Ole Miss, and so he walked in the next Monday at work, and there was LSU stuff everywhere.
Awful. That's awful.
And they loved it. He said it was a ton of fun. But yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
What did you expect about travel PT that when you started you realized it's not like this?
It's interesting when people talk about travel, they say, oh yeah, you should travel. You make so much money.
That's a big stereotype you hear.
You're going to get 6 figures day one. Well, I'm sorry to tell you.
Wait, what?
Happens.
I'm sorry. What happened?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Right. And so yes, you do get paid well. Do not get me wrong. I'm not complaining at all because I do get paid well. However, it's very dependent on setting and location and time of year and experience. Yeah. And, my very first travel assignment, I took a lot less because I had no leg to stand on. I had no experience. They were really taking a risk on me. So I didn't go into travel for the money necessarily, but it was definitely going to help with loans. And so it's been, and I've had a lot of people who have graduated who contact me and say, is this salary right? Yes, it is. It's not what you expected. Now, again, we make good money. I'm not saying we do, but it's just not really what you expect. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts. There's also, the travel companies have to make money too. So if you are willing to negotiate, you can make more. But if you kind of just say, oh yeah, I'll take that, then, you may not be getting as much as you maybe deserve. So that's probably been the biggest thing. Not bad. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, you threw that word negotiate out. I think more recently I've seen on social media and just talking to people, that's kind of an area that school doesn't teach you. And so what can you tell us a little bit about negotiating?
Like, do you show up to the recruiting office with a baseball bat and be like, no, we're going to make this happen?
You might.
Be Beaumont.
That's what I visualize.
I want Beaumont with 6 figures.
Brownsville, maybe.
Brownsville.
Yes, actually. Yes, I'm just going to say yes. They actually, one of the places, this is a side note, but I did get a call one day that said, hey, we have this awesome job, this great pay package. And I was like, that's a ton of money. They're like, yeah, so off the coast of Virginia, there's this little island. It's kind of like the south tip of Delaware, but it's like to get to Virginia, you have to take a boat. And they're like, do you want to go there? I was like, excuse me?
You'd be working in the Atlantic.
Like, what is on this random island? I don't. And
So
seriously,
we had some failed dinosaur experiments there, and
but seriously, you can really make the money if you're willing to go to the middle of nowhere and work in really random places. But yeah, so yeah, negotiating. I mean, when Dr. Warner did give us a little seminar, I guess, right before we graduated, basically just telling us, y'all are doctors. You got your doctorate degree. Do not let somebody downplay that just because you're a new grad.
Yeah.
So, that is one thing, especially for new grads, that you can kind of, that is a little leg you can stand on, I guess. After that, though, I mean, we went to a great school. Everywhere I've gone, people say, oh, we love grads from St. Augustine. Nice. So, you have that. I took the manual therapy courses my last semester, so I haven't done my certification yet, but I have all those extra courses. You have clinicals. So you really kind of have to sell yourself. I'm not the greatest at that. Steven can tell you, but, at first as a new grad, you need to find all the big strengths and use those. And then, after you get experience, you really need to get what you're worth. I'm learning quickly. I'm a little naive, I guess, and I expect the best in people. And, everybody's out to make money. Travel companies, jobs, if they can pay you less, if you're not going to demand more, then they'd rather do that.
Right. Yeah. Right. Unfortunately.
So you kind of have to know what you're worth and be willing to put your foot down with it.
Yeah. Agreed.
And Dr. Warner is the best. Let's just leave that.
Dr. Warner is the best. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
What was that, Steven?
Yeah. Yeah. And he still talks to me about stuff. I'll email him and he'll respond. So even after I graduated, he's still been a great resource.
That's awesome.
He's the perfect Zen mentor, isn't he?
He is, yes.
So Jared, you mentioned a good point about mentoring. I guess I have zero experience, but when you think about travel PT, it might seem like there's not a lot of mentorship or, people that are easily accessible. Can you give us a little bit more about, mentoring and kind of what you've had and what you wish you've had, stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually had one teacher at St. Augustine. I mean, Dr. Warner was one of them. He was great. The other professor that I really clicked with was Dr. Trotter. I don't know if you all know her.
She's awesome.
She is. Our friendship started during my interview because I had Birmingham, Alabama on my name tag, and she stopped the whole interview and looked at me and said, I have one question. And I said, okay. And she goes, Alabama or Auburn? And I said, I could answer this wrong. She goes, you could. And I said, Roll Tide. And she said, I went to Auburn.
Oh.
And so that's how our friendship started, I guess. But I got in and it was great. And she still let me babysit her kids. So I guess turn her away. But she was kind of my go-to a lot in school. And she ended up being my mentor when I got out of school. So during my first assignment, I had some ethical issues come up, and I called her and said, hey, like, I don't know if you can help me with this. And she's like, oh, if you ever need anything, like, you can call me. So I did. And she like talked me through it and really helped me see it from a seasoned therapist perspective, which was great. I really appreciated it, because you really don't. I mean, some travel companies will offer kind of a mentorship program where you get matched up with kind of a current traveler, but they don't all do that, and they're not always the most accessible. So, you know, but you don't have to have like a specific company given mentor. I had my classmates who we all started work around the same time. So, they don't have a lot of experience, but you're kind of all going through it together, and you can kind of, well, my company does it this way, and this is how we do it. And during this clinical internship, this is what happened. And so, between classmates, people in older classes that I knew, and then Dr. Trotter, I felt like I had kind of that network that I needed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have kind of a go-to right after, but you can kind of find those if you look hard enough. And it's good to have somebody that has experience to go to, because you get very overwhelmed with some stuff and you don't know if you're looking at it from the right perspective. And so anybody that has experience, it's great to kind of go to them if you can.
Yeah. And thank you for that, because I think that's important for those, of us that may be considering traveling, whenever we finish school. I think it's important, everybody kind of talks about, they might get a little worried about not having that mentor, or, sacrificing travel for a mentor, yada, yada. But I think it's important that, there's still chances to have, and, there's still, like you said, a phone call away. And it's important, especially knowing that, we may be facing some ethical dilemmas. So I think that is important.
Yeah. And it's like, one thing that comes to mind when you think of travel PT, whether it's just what PT society tells you or anything, it's like you feel like, oh, I'm going to be in some random desolate location, right, all alone. Right. I'm going to be making a bunch of money, so it's going to be worth it, and I'll pay off my loans quicker. But like, I think, and I'm hearing a lot of great things from Aimee. That's like, she's keeping it so real with us, and it's like, here's what's real. Here's what could happen. Here's how it really is. And I think the big thing for me is like understanding how these relationships work, and how she's telling us, like, you got to have good relationships with the recruiter, with your PTAs, with your site, with your mentors back at home that you went to school with. And like another like vibe that she's sending out is like, you still got to hustle with travel PT. Like it's not find an assignment and your cake. It's like you still gotta put in the work. It's not an easy gig by any means.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think too, people say you're going to be the only therapist, like the only PT at any site you go to. And that's been true for some of them, but the hospital in Lubbock, it was me and 11 other PTs.
Oh, wow.
They were neuro certified and this certified and this, they had all these certifications. And so I spent 13 weeks with seasoned therapists that were, certified in, if you can name it, one of them probably had it. And so, I had that when I was in Washington. There was actually another physical therapist there, and she, had been a therapist for 25 plus years. And they love travelers because you're coming in to help them and their load gets lighter. And so they're really willing to help you. Like if you're willing to ask the questions and take the time to say, I don't know what to do, they're very willing to help you through it.
That's
so
awesome.
There is a way, if you're looking for a travel assignment during your interview with the company, they're interviewing you, but you're interviewing them too. Like, is this going to be a good fit for me at your facility? And so, am I the only PT? Yes or no? how many PTs do I have? What are your expectations? Because if they say, oh, well, there's 3 other PTs, you can all work together. Maybe that's the better assignment for you, so you kind of can pick and choose if you want to, which is really nice.
And what are some other things, questions you would ask at an interview for the site or with your recruiting company? What are some things that you're looking for at a site before you confirm and pack your bags to head over there?
Yeah, so I actually have a list of questions that I have made
Nice.
over my year and a half of travel.
And you can purchase that at hashtag Life of a PT blog, WordPress.
Well, when she gets her blog running, we'll be able to purchase it.
There we go.
That's true. Yeah. Ooh, I should start selling this. More money.
You are welcome.
No, thank you so much, Jared. I'll give you some of it. I'll give you like 10%.
Oh, wow.
I'm down.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, Steven.
It wasn't my idea, so it's okay.
My bad.
Shouldn't have went to Langston.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess my typical questions are, am I the only PT? Like, that's a huge one. My second question is, how many PTAs am I supervising? Another one is, what is my productivity standard? So at a lot of skilled nursing facilities, you have a productivity rate you have to hit, like a percentage of like patient care time versus non-patient care time. And sometimes it can be very high and it's almost impossible for someone to meet. So I like to kind of know what that expectation is going to be going in so that I don't walk in and get blindsided by it.
Right.
Those are probably the big ones. Another one I like to ask is if like the nurse practitioner, PA, or doctor is on site. My first assignment, probably about most of my assignments, a doctor, PA, or NP for the patients are there every day. But at one of them, he was there like once a week, and that's fine, but it's really nice to have them there every day to like be able to talk about patient care and what's going on, because things can change so quick. So that's a big one I kind of added, I guess, more recent, just because that communication is just huge. I mean, being able to talk face to face is so much better than on the phone.
Yeah, that's good. That can, it seems like that might present a challenge too. If, I'm sure there's a lot of questions that arise being a traveler. I mean, it's not familiar territory. It's not familiar people. It's not familiar place. So I think it'd be helpful to have, somebody, a doctor, PA, MP, on staff or on site, to help with that.
And it sounds like your communication skills need to be on point.
Yes.
Yes, you have to want to talk to everybody all the time.
I think it just makes your job easier, it seems.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Is there a certain type of person that you think that benefits most from doing a travel job? I know you mentioned like life factors, but like what about a personality? Would a personality type benefit traveling more so than others? Yeah,
I would say yes, but if you were to ask basically my entire family, knowing me, they would have never thought I would do travel. I love structure and I love kind of knowing what's going to happen next. And I love being surrounded by people and I like friends. I'm a social person. And so they were like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, it's a great opportunity, but travel is kind of the complete opposite. So yeah, if you have a personality where you can kind of walk in and be friends with everybody and you can adapt quickly, to your surroundings, that's the biggest thing. If you're somebody that really likes structure, that really kind of freaks out at the sight of something changing, you have to be aware that travel is all about being adaptable. Like, you have to be able to, oh, can you cover another facility? Sure. Oh, your contract needs to be cut 2 weeks short. Okay. Oh, you had an assignment, but we found a permanent person. Sorry, you don't have a job anymore.
Wow.
That happened to me on my first job assignment, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a personality that fits it better, but if you know what you're walking into, you can also you have to be adaptable though. You really do. You have to be able to go with the flow and you have to be able to get along with really any kind of person. You don't have to like them, but you have to be able to get along with them.
Yeah.
Even if they went to Bama?
Even if they went to
I don't know. I don't dig it. I don't know.
I'm taking notes. We're taking notes.
Okay. You have to learn to say roll tide every once in a while.
I think we can do without. We can do it.
Jordan. So yeah, I mean, I've met people that are like, I just can't handle the not knowing. And, I would be lying if I said that in between every assignment when I'm trying to find my next job, I'm not a little anxious about it, but it's also kind of exciting too.
How easy or difficult has it been to, kind of like get the next job and, set yourself up for the next rotation, that kind of stuff?
It has always worked out. It's worked out easier for some than others. When I finished in Lubbock, I ended on a Friday, and I didn't know until that Friday where I was going to be starting 10 days from then.
Gotcha.
Which was in Oregon.
Wow.
So cross-country road trip, 4 days.
But you did it, and you probably saw a bunch of cool stuff along the way.
I did. We went to like 2 or 3 national parks. We drove through the snow. We spent the night in Vegas. It was cool.
Life of a travel PT.
Seriously, life of a travel PT. So but at the same time, I finished in Washington, and then it took me 4 weeks to find my next assignment in Texas. So part of it is if you're willing to be open to going anywhere, I want to go to Texas. Okay, here are the jobs. Okay, I'll take this one. But if you really want to be in a certain area or a certain setting, you have to kind of be more patient. It's a little more difficult to find that perfect job.
Gotcha.
And how light are you packing? Are you going light, or are you bringing a whole U-Haul trucks? These sites. We flying, we driving, we going by train.
We are driving. Steven's laughing because he's seen pictures of some of my packing. I have learned a lot. I, for some reason, decided I needed a printer the first time I went on. I have no idea why. It never came out of the box. But
what's the most awkward, heavy piece of machinery that I can bring on a road trip?
A printer I think has been the most ridiculous thing.
Need toothpaste, deodorant, mouthwash, food, and printer.
And a printer.
I gotta have my things to print.
I really don't really know what was going through my mind. I am really good at being like, oh, but what if blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
For you listening, your facilities have printers. You do not need one. If you need a boarding pass, you can get it at the airport.
Is there something that you've forgotten along the way? That'd be helppful.
I can't think. I overpack, so I've pretty much had everything. I think the hardest part about packing is, like my first job assignment, they said you need to wear business casual. Okay, so I went and got business casual clothes and took them, and I walked in and everyone was wearing scrubs. I was like, well, I left all my scrubs in storage, so my sister's sending me my scrubs. So now I have all these business casual clothes that I've barely even worn. And so the other issue is when you go from Virginia in the summer to Lubbock, Texas in the winter where it's snowing, to the coast of Oregon, to Washington, then to Texas in the summer again, you end up with jeans, Ugg boots, scarves, and sweaters with bathing suits and sundresses and sandals.
and you'll get your locations mixed up, so you'll go out in the cold with like shorts on.
Yeah, basically.
Where you're at.
Basically. So, that's been the hardest part. Everything has fit in my car. I have a crossover SUV, so I've been able to fit everything in my car. Plus, I've always had someone road tripping with me, so I've always been able to fit a person, their one suitcase, because they can't bring any more than that, and all of my stuff.
Gotcha.
And we need to get you a sponsorship with whatever vehicle you drive, because that would be awesome, right?
Ooh, Jared.
Actually, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about the vehicle you drive?
Yeah, how smooth is that ride?
Sure, Steven.
How many cup holders?
Multiple. So I actually just got a new car.
Nice.
My car was a 2006 BMW X5 that had 200,000 miles on it.
Ooh.
And it got me to Washington and back, which was on a wing and a prayer, because it could have literally broken down at any point along.
Ooh, we don't want that. We don't want that.
No. So I actually just got a new car. So I was able to get a 2014 certified pre-owned Audi Q7.
Ooh, with the coal package or no?
You know the answer to that. Yes.
Yes. And you got a tow hitch or no?
I do, yeah. So I like to take my mountain bike with me wherever I go. And it has fit inside of my car every time because the car I had didn't really have a way to transport it any other way. So I would have to take like the front wheel off and put it in the car. So this one, I didn't need a tow package, but it had one. So I can now get one of those bike racks that goes on the back so that I can put my mountain bike on it and not be putting it inside my car every time.
Yeah. So you have space for your printer.
Exactly. I need space for my printer. Yes.
I have to, please enlighten me. I'm an avid fan of sunroofs. So would you mind telling me a little bit more about your sunroof if you have one?
I do have a sunroof. It's I don't know if it's called a moonroof, but it goes all the way back.
Oh,
yeah.
moonroof.
Life of a travel PT.
Life of a travel PT. It's cool too because it has a screen, so you can open the window but close the screen, so you can get the fresh air but not the sun.
Must be nice. Must be nice, Steven.
Yeah, I guess she's looking at the moon with that, or
yeah, something like that. Moon stars. That's whatever. Fresh air.
Nice.
Life of a travel PT.
Beautiful.
Well, Jared's gonna ask you another question, then I probably will, and we'll get to our little surprise at the end.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Little surprise. Yeah, maybe leading up to that surprise at the end, how do you keep yourself busy in those long drives? What are you listening to?
So
hold on. Time out. If we're gonna use that transition, I'm gonna ask my question first.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Mine's another last PT question. Can you give any advice to students in PT programs just about finishing up or enjoying the process or that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, PT school's hard. It's brutal. It literally will take you to the breaking point. But it's supposed to. It's a doctorate program. There's a very small percentage of people that get their doctorates. And so it's something that I kind of had to be reminded of sometimes in school. Like, this is a doctorate degree. This isn't just grad school. People, are possibly going to fail. Not you guys.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
That's happening. It's supposed to, it's a hard program, but if you love it and it's something you really want to do, it's worth the sacrifices. It's worth, not going to a football game. It's really hard for me to say because I didn't go to Bryant-Denny Stadium for 3 years and it was really hard.
It sucks.
But yeah, so it's brutal. It's hard, but it is so worth it in the end. Yeah. I mean, you come out so prepared. You may not feel prepared, but you walk into a clinic and you are so prepared. And, there's been a few different patients who have really impacted me in my first year and a half, and it made everything worth it. Watching somebody go from not being able to get out of bed to being able to walk with a walker and being able to see somebody, with 15 broken bones, walking with a walker as a 25-year-old to a year later running a marathon, to know that you were a part of that. I send Steven stuff all the time. I'm like, hey, remember this patient I told you about? This is what he's doing now. Remember this when you're hating school. It is so worth it. The lives you touch, it's just so worth it. So keep pushing. It's horrible, but just take one step at a time and kind of enjoy it. I mean, you're gonna look back and you're not gonna miss the schoolwork, but you're gonna miss being around those people, and you're not having to pay off loans now because you're in school. So you actually have to pay them off, so it's not as exciting.
Well, that's definitely giving me goosebumps. Very inspiring.
Super inspiring. Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aimee, for all that. That real world.
Dropping travel PT bombs everywhere.
Learn so much about that.
Sugarcoat it because I think some things I was given was sugar coated. So.
Of course.
Yeah. So Steven and I both are wondering, or maybe Steven already knows, how do you kill it? What do you do for all those long hours in the car, driving from Texas to Oregon to Texas, back to Florida, back to Bryant-Denny Stadium? Is that what the
good job? Yes,
godforsaken stadium. I said it without throwing up, so look at me.
I'm very proud of you. We've taken strides.
Yeah,
baby steps. Just the last hour, we've taken strides.
Bama baby steps.
Hey, hashtag Bama baby steps.
So many hashtags.
Roll Tide out of y'all eventually.
Roll Tide.
Oh my! Stop!
Hey, Jared, have you seen Steven's picture in an Alabama shirt? Because it happened.
That happened?
It happened.
That's a thing? That exists somewhere?
It does.
I lost a bet. I lost a bet and decided not to bet this year because of that. So
wow.
Yeah. Anyways, I digress.
Yikes.
Yep.
Well, besides listening to Alabama band music and clips of people yelling "Roll Tide" for 5 hours, what else do you listen to on those
is
long
there
rides?
really anything else? I mean, other than Leonard Skinner and Sweet Home Alabama. No, I'm joking. So I will say I've had some awesome friends and family members come and road trip with me. So that has been cool. But when I haven't, I really like putting my iPod on shuffle and just like listening to really anything that comes on, because my iPod has a nice wide variety of music ranging from like Broadway and Disney to Ludacris and Usher. Yeah. So, and country and anything in between. So it's fun to just like put the iPod on shuffle and see what happens. And, I think this is where Steven wants me to go with this.
Well, I was kind of thinking for us audio learners, I'm definitely not an audio learner, but I think Jared is. So maybe if you could give us a little clip of, what we're talking about.
Yeah, so this all started in college, actually, because my drive from home to Florida was 4 hours on one highway.
Ooh.
Which is very boring. And so I took it upon myself to learn rap songs.
Good.
That's not a bad thing.
Or the rap parts of songs. So like Ludacris had a time where he just would like, I don't think he actually had a song come out for like 5 years. It's just like, hey, Justin Bieber, let me do your rap. And hey, so like, hey, you, let me do your rap. And they were very fun.
Exactly.
So I would listen to songs on a repeat until I knew all the words.
Oh, that's good. Well, can you spread some of that love?
Can I? Ooh,
Song of your choice. No pressure.
Yeah, no. Part of my problem is it's kind of a guilty pleasure because they're not the most appropriate.
We'll give a disclaimer to those that will listen. Song is not appropriate.
So Ludacris isn't wholesome?
No, Ludacris is not wholesome.
Yeah, I do have to say, he played at a free concert at LSU that I attended. I didn't like Luda at the time. I really did enjoy, the concert. Some of the songs I agree are inappropriate. But he was a good, he was a good concert. Good entertainment.
We greatly appreciate your constructive feedback on the Luda concert.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sure you were there. If we'll save the other music from there, but
so this one is not technically Luda, but there's a story that goes with it, so it kind of helps me out a little bit. When I was in high school, me and one of my friends were helping at this school, Christian school next to my church. We were like painting and stuff. And so this was around the time that I'm in Love with a Stripper was really popular.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and Mike Jones.
Oh, Mike Jones. Who?
I think was on there too. Yeah, Mike Jones.
Oh.
Yeah. So, me and my friend were painting, and we had on like the hits radio station, like whatever. We were seniors in high school, and so we weren't even paying attention. All of a sudden, like the principal of the school comes in, and we start listening to what's on the radio, and it's like, she's every man's dream. She's God's gift to earth. Women live into that all a woman's worth.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And we both lose it. And she's like, I mean, I guess it's a good thing he's thanking God for the strippers, but I don't think.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Like, our bad. We will go change that right now.
Oh, funny.
That's awesome that she was so positive to be like, well,
I know, right? I was like, man, I wish I could.
like, yeah, I mean, strippers deserve the Lord's praise sometimes as well. I don't know. Perhaps.
Yeah. So, that I sound really, white girl when I do it, but it's fun. So it works. That's a good one. One of my other favorites, I think Luda's actually in this one, but I don't know if this is part, is Holiday Inn.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
What's Your Fantasy is actually probably one of my all times, but I'm not going to say favorites. That sounds bad. It's a fun one to rap to, but it's definitely inappropriate.
What's Your Fantasy has the flow and the quickness and the just upbeat.
It does.
To sing. So
it does.
It can be fun to sing.
I don't like the, hardcore rap that has no beat and is just someone screaming at me. But the ones that actually have kind of a beat to it and it's some really, when you're driving 12 hours in the car and it's getting dark and you're tired and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
You want to
basically.
You need to stay on the road and listen to more Alabama songs and do those things, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Well.
So yeah, it's good. I'm trying to think of another one. None of them are appropriate. I apologize.
What's your favorite Luda song, Steven?
I don't really have a favorite. I don't actively listen to Luda.
You don't actively listen to.
I don't actively. The thing is with him is that I don't think he was good enough to. You mentioned he didn't. An album.
You are dissing Luda super hard, man.
No. He didn't have he just did a bunch of features. So I don't really have a specific Luda song that I enjoy.
Damn, dude.
Maybe Move B. Get Out the Way.
Yeah.
Yep.
We could that's a probably popular one.
I'll agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say probably my all-time favorite Ludacris. Well, it's multiple people, but the song "Yeah" by Usher and Ludacris.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Ooh.
That was probably the first Ludacris little rap I learned. Because it's awesome.
Take that and rewind it back.
Ooh, Ludacris got the voice to make it.
What?
Oh.
What was that?
Did you cut out, Steven, a little bit?
I think I cut out.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, connection. But it has Usher in it too, and Usher's awesome.
You like Usher? Yeah.
I do.
Well, that is awesome. I hope. Are you going to be traveling sometime soon?
I am. I am leaving next Wednesday to go to my next assignment.
Beaumont, Texas.
Shout out to Beaumont.
Shout out to Beaumont, home of the.
Ooh,
I'm not sure on that one.
We'll fix that in editing.
We'll fix that.
We'll throw something out there.
Yeah, I will say this assignment was not for location; it was for job opportunity. It's actually a hospital in Beaumont. It's a huge medical center that is acute care PT, which I've never done, and they're willing to train me and even teach me some wound care.
Oh wow!
So sometimes you take the travel assignment based on the job versus the location because this is, wouldn't get this experience anywhere else. So,
yeah.
Well, you have fun with that wound care.
Yes.
Yeah. There's not gonna be a ton of it. I'm not 100% yay, wound care, but more tools in the toolbox. If you've done it before, you can use it for negotiating.
Yeah. I think most people are not yay wound care. There's very few people I know that enjoy wounds care. Caring for the wounds.
Caring for the wounds.
There actually are PTs that just do wound care. I've met some.
That is more power to.
I think they're still thinking that they're oranges. So.
Hey, it's on boards, so just a heads up.
I couldn't even do the orange, man. I killed my orange.
I did too. I ended up just eating the orange. So
just eating it.
It happened.
Dr. Aimee Kent, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you all. It was great.
Taking time from not driving to Oregon or Texas or Beaumont to be here with us, dropping wisdom. How can people get in contact with you, reach you? Are you plugging anything? You got anything that people need to go out to the stores and buy or go online and download your 10 steps to secure a great travel contract?
No, not right now, but I'm going to start working on it after talking to you. You've inspired me. You're in the Flex program and doing podcasts. So I think if me working and having 3 weeks in between jobs, I can put something together for people.
Once again, you are welcome.
Again, you will get some of the kickbacks, 10%.
Oh, okay.
Much appreciated. Not for Steven though, because he's Langston.
Oh,
right. No.
Go Lions. Go Lions.
Shout out. We love Langston.
Shout out.
Go Lions.
Well, thank you again. We hope that you'll be on another podcast with us sometime in the future.
Yes, definitely. Let me know. Thank you all. I think what you're doing is great. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Learned so much.
Thank you. We can't wait to hear about your next steps.
Yeah,
So,
me either. I can't wait to see what they are.
I can't wait to read your blog and see all the pics and all
me
that
too.
stuff.
We're all waiting. Everybody's waiting.
Everybody, all 2 of you.
Even Luda.
Everybody is waiting on those pics.
If Luda would do like a little jingle or something for me, that would be awesome. I would probably get a heartbeat.
What would the jingle be? Just like
I'm calling out people like Donald Trump, so you should make that happen for me.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, Luda will be the next one we at.
We'll
at Luda.
At Luda.
Please, at Luda, please write Dr. Aimee Kent a travel PT jingle.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
I want to travel to Oregon, and I got to work at this cute thing.
Actually, I don't think I need Luda. Maybe I should just get you to do it.
Again, you are welcome.
Oh, man.
Y'all are crazy. Well, thank you again.
Aimee Kent. Aimee
Thank
Kent.
you. We'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
We live, baby.
We live, baby. Ooh, we back.
Ooh, we back.
Steven and Jared.
What's
we
up,
back
y'all?
we back like we ain't never left.
Ooh, look back at it. Oh.
Yeah.
No. Oh.
Oh.
I hope y'all enjoyed that podcast.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. This was Steven's first podcast hosting.
It was. I enjoyed it. It was a great first podcast to roll with. I'm hoping to get on a lot more in the future.
Hell yeah.
A couple months until time frees up. But no, thank y'all for listening again. And I hope that y'all were able to learn something from it. I'm always learning from y'all. We appreciate y'all listening. It kind of keeps us going, and it's just something a little fun to do on the side. So.
Oh yeah, greatly appreciated. Yeah, anybody that would take the time to listen to us.
Right.
Throw around Kevin Gates references and other things.
But we have to finish appropriately with the good Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. G-A-U-X.
G-A-U-X.
Yes.
That's what I mean. Our relationship goes way back to English at LSU class, and ever since then it's been a culmination of Louisiana hip hop.
Right.
Boosie Gates.
Boosie Gates.
Wayne.
Old Wayne.
Old Wayne.
Circa Carter 2.
Circa Carter 2. What's your favorite Carter?
Man, I mean, honestly, Carter 2 has got to be my favorite.
Okay.
Gotta be my
favorite song from Carter 2?
Oh, man. Honestly, they're all kind of good. I mean, it wouldn't be due justice if I picked one of them.
Uh-huh.
But do you have one?
I mean, Fireman's the biggest hit off that, right?
Fireman, definitely the biggest hit. I'm kind of a fan of Grown Man. It features Currency. Currency is local New Orleans. But man, honestly, they're all kind of good.
Yeah.
Hustler music, kind of chill.
Yes.
Yeah.
That hustler music. Weezy got that hustler music. So vibe to it. Duck legs. Yeah.
Duck legs.
Aimee Kent. Traveling up to Oregon.
Ooh. Ooh. They ain't ready for you.
She's just listening to hustler music all the way from Texas to Oregon, man.
Yeah, and you'll follow her. Her next assignment's going to be in Gainesville, Florida. Follow her. Don't go Gators. Go Tigers still.
Get me. Yeah. Gainesville, baby. Young Gainesville, baby.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's been a blast, Steven, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.